All right, y'all. We back with another one. This shit right here is very interesting. I think I remember seeing the first one, but this is 1 year later, and it's called Heartbreak 2. And Kourtney and Leonard meet again and discuss him allegedly cheating on her and why he did it. And he actually got to get some shit off this time. He got to kind of explain his side and his viewpoint on how he saw the relationship. She gotta be a Pisces. She gotta be a Pisces or some shit. Cause she also went to Spelman. And I've had a similar situations happen with a Pisces who went to Spelman. And the sentiment is kind of the same. Emotions are so involved. And the person felt so deeply about the relationship. At least that's what they claimed. So much so that whenever anybody else was involved, or even after knowing that other people were involved, it still bothered them to a certain degree, which is natural. I'm sure it would bother many people. The challenge with that is them not understanding why they aren't actually getting the outcomes that they want within the relationship. And it's usually due to some reaction that they had from being extremely emotional. But because their emotions are valid, the action that follows also seems suitable to them. Like they don't see it as an overreaction or as a as a as a unreasonable reaction, because the feeling is very strong. So the way I react, if that is also very extreme, then it just matches up to the outcome that it needed to. Which in some cases, in most cases, this was not, just wasn't appropriate. And it put me in situations that could have been a danger to my livelihood, but it's not seen that way. Because from their perspective, although I agree your emotions are valid, the way you handle your emotions may not be the best way, or may not be the healthiest way in the long run and for a good outcome. So let's get into this video, man, and let's see what Leonard's side of the story is. Let's see. I'm interested to hear.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you. But that's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you again.
Damn. It's crazy how you can go from... Damn, that was a good opener. It's crazy how you can go from really loving somebody. The thin line between love and hate is so true. Because you could really go from being enthralled with this person and fucking just... You want to live in their fucking skin, bruh. And she would tell me that, like, most times when women love you, they really want to... Nigga, if they could inject themselves inside of your veins, they would. I don't know if you niggas ever felt that before or had somebody feel that about you, but women have told me, like, just jokingly. I mean, she said she would even live in my underwear underneath my ball sack. Like, that's how much she wanted to be. That's how much she wanted to be in my skin, nigga. But because you feel so strongly, and that is an emotion, that is also very, very high. When it starts going the opposite way, when it starts going the opposite way, it's kind of like a trampoline. Like the higher, like you can start out slow. You can start out with slight power, and you don't dip as low, but you also don't go as high. But the higher you jump, the lower you sink in once you make that impact. And once you cross that threshold of impact, in order to reach a new high or the same high that you were at, you have to exert that much power or more. So it's the same way for emotions, it's the same way for love, like it's the same way for the push and pull that you have with somebody that you're intertwined with. After a while, if you don't gradually decline and you rip yourselves away from each other off of that high that was really, really great, and then shit just started spiraling extremely fast, that low is gonna be just as great. It's gonna be just as greater. So, and it's interesting to see how many relationships I've been in that have kind of been like within 2 weeks of something spiraling out of control, they really hate your fucking guts. Thankfully, most of them have just blocked, we just kind of block each other and move on, or we don't block each other, we just kind of move on and fade. I'd say that's probably like a good 2 or 3 relationships I've or kind of situationships I've dealt with that have ended like that. Like, nah, fuck you, I'm good. And you can still feel for these people and you still love them to fucking death, but it's just not gonna, unless somehow you meet as brand new people, it's not gonna work. And for the person that I was with that's very similar to this situation, and it feels very similar to this situation, because just right off rip, her, just from what she started with, I wanted to be with you. Like, I wanted to. It sounded like they weren't in a committed relationship, and they didn't, like, it wasn't bonded. It wasn't bonded together. Like, mutually, you have to come to an agreement and say, hey, I want to be in a committed relationship with you. Let's work towards that. Let's do that. If you don't do that, it's not cheating. Now, there's a gray area to this, because shout out to AMS. After a certain while, when you're dealing with somebody, and most of my partners I deal with on a multi-year basis, I don't think I've ever really dealt with anybody extremely short term. And it could happen with these most recent situations. I don't know yet. We'll see. But the previous situations, and the one that sounds very familiar to this one, we have been on and off or fucking around for like almost 2.5 years. When you get to that point, you're pretty much you're dating, and it can feel exclusive, and it can feel great, and you fuck up and you're around this person a lot. You're not really holding too many boundaries. You're getting comfortable in the relationship. And that's understandable, because you really fuck with this person. Even though y'all are seeing other people, you're choosing to spend a lot of your time together because y'all just mesh well out of the people that you could be spending time with. Because of that, when someone steps out and jolts the system that y'all were just in, that can lead to a lot of friction. And it requires a lot of coming back together and figuring out where the relationship went wrong and why, and if you want it to even get back on track, because you may not. So let's see if this was actually the case. But based off the language she just used, it sounds like the potential for a relationship was there, but that's not what they were in. It's not what that was. Let me make sure I heard. Let me make sure I heard correctly.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you. But
Yeah, I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you, but that's all in the past now.
it's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you again.
That shit is crazy. She must have really, in order for you to get, like, women have this joke online too. In order for a nigga to block you, you had to be a menace, bro. In order for a nigga to say some shit like this, that's different. I'm not gonna lie.
I've
Like,
learned a lot
niggas
from
can be
you. I learned a lot
assholes, but
this
that's
past
crazy.
year. Grew my social following, my career, my life did like a 180.
I'm in a good place, taking care of myself, drinking more water, exfoliating. I'd like to learn my lessons the hard way. I'm glad that we did the video. It's definitely changed both of our lives for the better.
I think they took away that I was a damsel in distress and he was a villain. And it wasn't that cut and dry. We both are human and we both make mistakes.
People feel like they know the whole story of our relationship from watching a 5-minute video, which is just absurd and, kind of makes me seem like a bad person, which I'm not.
You're not a bad person.
Kourtney was like one of the only people I could relate to. There hasn't really been a video like this before.
Yeah, you're like infamous now.
I used to read the comments and see all the fucked up shit people would say, wish death on me. Being judged by people that don't know me is really, I don't take it personally. I'm a black man living in America, so I've kind of been judged on things outside of my character my whole life. I don't know, I kind of think that the cycle with me and Kourtney might have continued. And part of the reason I did the video was so that, Kourtney would be able to move on.
So that I can move on.
Yes, because you still wanted to be with me after I didn't want to be with you.
Did I?
I don't know
What are
why
you
you
talking
sit up
about?
here in front. When you approached me to do the video, you were not exclusive, I was not exclusive.
I was
You did your
exclusive.
thing.
Okay, so shit getting spicy. 2 minutes in, shit getting spicy. But you gotta listen to the language. I was not exclusive. You weren't exclusive. She rebutted with, I was exclusive. You will find in your career, in your dating career, there are some women who they not really out here. They not for the streets like that. Like they 1 foot in, 1 foot out. They don't know how they feel about it, or they just don't know how to maneuver it. And the social media and music has gotten them hyped up to where they feel like they need to do that versus just trying to figure men out and find their one solid partner and do the work to be that person that their partner needs. Instead of doing that shit, they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and they're trying to figure out the dating game and the dating market. But that shit is so strenuous and it's such a rigorous fucking draining process that although y'all are dating and dating only, and you're not mutually exclusive to one another, she sees it that way because she's not partaking in the market anymore. And because y'all are so locked in. And she's locked into you, so instead of communicating, hey, this is where I want shit to go, this is where I see our relationship, are you down with that? You kind of just slip into it, which is why I don't really fuck with monogamy like that, because it gets dangerous. Because people get comfortable doing shit like this.
I did not
He clearly was on a whole other page.
do my thing.
We did this to get exposure as entertainers.
That's not true.
It was obviously a setup for me because I was the one who would be painted as a cheater.
I asked you to do it so we could talk about things because we never talked about things.
What is there to talk about?
Us being together.
We were never together. This is what happened. I ordered food, chill for them.
See? This is, again, it's hard to talk to women who get extremely triggered by the decisions that they themselves have made, and they didn't even realize they made them. Like, they didn't even realize they were committing themselves to somebody who was not committed to them. And even if they did realize it, they chose to ignore it. Like, clearly Men's is saying, bro, yes, I was locked in with you, but I wasn't in a relationship. Like, we didn't say, there hasn't been any definitive language around them being in a relationship. all the way up until this point, and she's already about to walk away. There hasn't been any language there. She hasn't had any clear cut. Here's what you said. Here's when we agreed to it. This is how it happened for me to feel this way. Instead of her saying, instead of it being, yes, I assumed because we were locked in, because things went this way, I just assumed that we were in a committed relationship with one another and we were on the same page and headed the same way. But she can't even get to that point because she's triggered all the way over again after saying she was in a good place. So clearly she's not over this. She's not over this situation.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, and that's also a trait too. The shut up thing. It's always the smallest things that add up. There's not once did he tell you to do anything about yourself. Like you can get up, you can say what you want to say, you can do what you want to do. But why did you have to do that to me when I gave you the floor to express yourself? Because you can't control your emotions. I have to shut up now. You got to tell me to do some shit. You have to tell me what to do with my body because you can't control yourself.
I like to be loud.
That sound bro. This shit. If you date enough, you've seen this.
I just don't want anything. This is
Do you want to like step out for a second?
Come get some truth.
You're tripping. You're tripping.
Sit down.
Don't tell me what to do. You're tripping. What are you doing? Like, what is this?
You throw things out there like that without adding context to make me look like a bad person.
You
That's
look
all
like
it
a
is.
crybaby right now.
Huh? How does that work, bro? Okay, so again, shaming tactics. Like, damn near gaslighting, I want to say. Because he doesn't look like he's whining or crying about anything. He really looks pretty indifferent about all of the shit because he's already gotten to a point of not giving a fuck. And he's telling her, come get some truth. Let me clarify why you're in a different position than I am and why this fracture has happened. Although we really loved each other and we still probably do, let me explain to you why. And instead of her controlling her emotions and sitting down and listening to this man, she chose to tell him to shut up and then comes back and shame him and tell him that he's looking like a crybaby because he wants to explain some shit to you and give you clarity that because you're clearly still not over this, but he wants to give you the clarity to move on from this shit. And what's worse is he's saying like, yo, you drop shit individually. This probably isn't the first time this has happened within their dynamic. You drop shit individually, whether it be to these people on the internet, your friends, your family, or to me in these arguments, out of context, just so that you can be the victim. That shit sounds very familiar. I'm not even.
Says
You're
her bae.
crying
Says her
because
bae.
you.
And she's the one that's categorized as hurt bae. That's what the internet calls her. And she has the audacity to call him a crybaby. Wow.
Cruel things to me. You cheated on me. You put me through hell, Leonard. I want to talk to you real quick.
It's over with. You're not on my team.
When I
And
should have
what?
said to hell with him, I said he's not a bad person.
'Cause you know
Multiple
that I'm
times.
Oh man, yeah. And the positioning of being the great, it's crazy because they really can't see that they aren't that great of people. Like to them, they're so great and they feel so much, and everything that they do has a reason. All of the emotions that they feel and the responses that they have from those emotions are reasonable, and you can't make them feel crazy about it. You can't make them feel irrational about it. You can't make them feel shameful about whatever action that comes after these very powerful emotions that they have. Although the way that they're acting is probably shameful, it's probably irresponsible, irrational, like all of the fucking things. But if you point that out and you make them feel that way, you're the monster in the end.
He's not a bad person is not saying, oh, he told me that he didn't want to be in a
You
relationship.
never said that.
Never?
You didn't say that. So why didn't you say this last time?
Because
Why didn't you tell me last time when we were here, you were never my girlfriend, I never cheated on you, and now you're saying all of this, like, what are you talking about?
because we came here to get on.
That's not the case. That was never the case.
It was always the case.
That wasn't the case for her. That was the case for him. It may have came up in conversation at some point, like we should do this, but that was the case for him. She's not actually listening to what's happening. She's not stepping outside of her emotions to see exactly how this shit is playing out.
Maybe that was the case for you, but I had feelings for you and I wanted to know what was going on.
You don't want to.
At no point have we heard we were in a relationship. This is when we agreed to that relationship. This is how that relationship happened. It's all been I wanted.
It's the truth.
What truth? What's your truth, Leonard? Go ahead. What's your truth?
The tactic. Damn, this shit sounds so familiar, bro. Another tactic. What is your truth? No, it's the truth of the entire situation. If you were to step outside of yourself, you would see that how this all played out.
You put me in fucked up situations, and then you play the victim. Every time. The whole time we messed around, I told you, hey, Kourtney, like, I really like you, I love you, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you. That's never what I wanted.
No rebuttal. No rebuttal. No reaction at all, actually. No apology. No nothing. No reconciliation for possibly fucking up this man's life, having the internet hate him for a relationship that they thought was a relationship, a committed relationship. Nothing, bruh. Nothing at all. These are the types of women you do not want to fucking be around. I promise you. It will drive you fucking crazy. If they cannot see the accountability that they should take for their add into the fracture of the relationship, into the unhealthiness and toxicity of the relationship, if they can't see why they should actually take accountability for their part and their share, that ain't shit to talk about, bro. I don't give a fuck how good the pussy is. I don't give a fuck what she did for you. I don't care. Women don't care. You could have had her mom move in and her little brother with an amputated leg, and you could have paid for her tuition through college. And you know her dad just passed, so you show up to the funeral, you pay for that. Nigga, you could be paying rent for 2 years up. You done paid rent, you handling business. You done got a whole family moved in with you and with y'all. The moment you don't line up to doing what the fuck you need to do for them invisible ass expectations that they create out of thin air, out of a relationship dynamic that you didn't even agree on, bro, they're gone. It's time to move the fuck on. Women prioritize their happiness so well, and I don't understand why men don't do it. Like, their happiness comes before everything. Like, they really be on that self-love journey, bro, and they don't give a fuck who they offend. They don't give a fuck who they got to get out of the way. If they can't feel the joy and happiness that they want to feel, nigga, you're X'd out.
We met in school, we met in college, we met in class, and you really didn't like me.
No, I didn't like you at first.
A couple years later, we
That's the crazy part. Damn, she didn't even like this nigga. What? Hey, that also a testament to it don't matter if you take that motherfucking shot, nigga. That shit could shouts out to Ty, man. Shouts out to Taekwondo. That nigga said that shit could spin around the rim for a whole year. Just for you to double back and at some point meet again and the shot land. And that's what happened in this situation. I don't know if I'd ever fuck with somebody who didn't fuck with me like that off first go. Nah, I mean, you're meeting a new person at this point. You're meeting a new person. You're meeting, you don't know if they changed. You don't know what their preferences have shifted to.
moved into
So
like the
it's a
same
new person.
apartment complex. And the first day we both moved there, we like met on the elevator again. It was like a reunion.
And then you offered to bring my groceries upstairs.
And yeah, we spent a lot of time together.
Like, every day.
I would say that you were my best friend.
Yeah. Me too.
Also, a fucking gym. Because this was also a similar situation I've been in. When you really enjoy somebody's time, company, you really enjoy the sexual chemistry, you enjoy a lot of the great qualities that they have, you will overlook a lot of bullshit. And he stated it previously, you've put me in situations, you've put me in bullshit, and then just made me out to be the bad guy. Like, you've put me in fucking situations. But you'll overlook those situations because you really fuck with this person. Don't do that. For one, create boundaries. Like, spending time together with somebody who didn't like you at first. Y'all aren't in a committed relationship, and you're spending every day together. I don't know if this was like during COVID. I don't know what year this was. Create boundaries, bro. Create boundaries, please. Because you will end up in situations like this if you don't. Because you could really fuck with this person. Like, and that's why they probably loved each other so much. But because of the speed of the emotions in the relationship, and you've hit that, you've instead of gradually reaching a new high on that trampoline, you just hopped on that motherfucker and just, like, dug your fucking weight into it. And the higher you go, when you come back down past that threshold of impact, that low is going to be low as fuck. So this is the outcome of that. And y'all seen the intro. The intro, this nigga is like, bro, I want you to disappear.
I've moved on. I fell in love again with a great guy, and we're very happy.
That's good to hear. I'm happy you finally found someone that can give you what you deserve, sis. I'm happy for you. I actually was in a relationship when we shot the first one.
You didn't say that last time.
I don't have to, it's not your business. I don't have to tell you everything.
Again. Bro, this shit is very clear. Very clear. Especially watching the second one. I wasn't in a relationship the first time we shot the first one. We're in two separate fucking books, not the same page. We're in two separate books, bro. We're not even reading the same thing. We're not even going the same way. He's having fun. She's headed to a relationship. Actually, she put herself in a relationship. They both did. I'm not gonna put that completely on her, because he should have created boundaries of separation to make sure this shit did not happen. But I understand when you really fuck with somebody and you love somebody and you're growing with them, you don't want to stop that experience from going. You don't want to stop that momentum. But you do have to put guardrails around and thresholds around the relationship. Because as fast as you're going up in emotions, the downfall is just as fast. And this shit spiraled to get to the ending that they're about to get to.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you. But that's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you again.
I wipe my hands of you.
Hey, bro, check this back one time. Make sure John didn't strangle his ass with that cable. He checked. Now I'm skeptical about the titles. I mean, I guess they're good for, clickbait and things like that, but and maybe it's not clickbait because it depends on your definition of cheating. Is someone, y'all let me know, like, comment, subscribe, y'all let me know in the comments. If you feel like somebody is on a different page than you, they've signed a different contract than you, and not even a different page, in a different book. They've signed a different contract than you. But you didn't create the boundaries to let them know that they shouldn't sign this 360 deal. You weren't really opposed to it for real. Like you didn't say shit about it. You didn't put the cap on the relationship and the speed in which it went and how far it went. You didn't throttle that. So is it really their fault to I mean, that shit sound crazy, bro. To not take accountability for their half of the relationship. Is it really their fault? Is it their responsibility to make sure that they know how much of an investment that they're putting into the relationship and how dangerous it is to not be on the same page? Are they responsible for that, or would that be considered cheating if you don't choose to bring that to the light and realign with one another? Is that considered cheating, I guess? I know what my answer is, but y'all let me know in the comments, man. Catch y'all on the next one.